we have reached the match for third. Or should I say the matches for third, because we're now to the best 2 out of 3. Semi-finals are behind us. 2, potentially 3 different Colosseums await. If someone wins this first match, they could still lose the next 2 and therefore not have a medal at the end of this tournament. Sander or Tenor? Winner from Group C, winner from Group D. Who will take bronze? This first match will help you a long way. Let's go. Dun, 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 dun.
The Pokemon stand heroically against an inspiring view of Poketopia at night. And now, the battle begins. The blue corner makes the first attack. A big hit already. Became poisoned.
Reap's weak to that.
An intense attack. The teammate was also hit.
Not as much damage as I expected. Reap's weak to that too. Stop hitting my partner's favorite Pokemon.
Gibbo suffers from poison. The blue corner is already poisoned. That's gonna be trouble if this becomes a drawn-out battle. Ouch! It was paralyzed.
They didn't just put up poison already. They set up toxic spikes. All of Sander's Pokemon can be damaged by it. Tenor with a really nice start.
Its special attack rose. A heated battle is unfolding in the Colosseum. Gibble starts to attack. Solid hit.
Reap down, but not before it set up toxic spikes. Was it Mareep? I think it was Mareep. Or do you don't remember? Oops. Well, good job, Mareep.
That hurt.
Jethro Gibbs has only 1 turn left to live by the looks of things. I think it just will be taken down by poison next turn. the poison on Gibble and the toxic spikes that have been set up are looking good. They're looking good in the long run. But Tenor has lost a Pokemon already in this first match. And Slugma's not looking too good. Tied for now. HP remaining advantage still Sander's side. And we're gonna get Sandstorm now. So I think that means Slugma down next turn? Yeah, without remaining HP. Actually, 1/16 of max health. If it would be 1/10, then yeah. No, Slugma will survive Sandstorm if it's just that.
Hippopotas is sent out. Well, both corners still have a chance to win this. Who's going to take the glory? Hippopotas starts to attack.
Yeah, Tenor might have a minor advantage with that poison being set up. Sandstorm will help KO Slugma. Tenor will want to take out the Iggly buff so that the poison goes on both Pokemon. And that's going to happen. From next turn onwards, both of Sander's Pokemon will be on a timer. Both will be poisoned. And because Hail comes in, that Hippopotas is on the timer even more because it will get hail damage as well. Slugma didn't get damage this turn, so it survives for now. It'll get hail damage next turn. So unless something like Present or Rest happens, Slugma will go down and bring it back to 4-4, assuming Snover, Duskull, or Hippopotas doesn't also go down. The Pokemon remaining advantage plus poison on the opponent advantage. Tenor's looking good so far, but they have looked good previously, and then they're still lost in the semifinals. And even if they win this one with convincing fashion, they can win the next two matches 1-0 and still not have the bronze medal. Because I'll remind you again, this is best 2 out of 3. You need to win 2 matches against this opponent to get 3rd place in the tournament. Toxic Spikes the other way, which you might get excited about. But the Pokemon that's coming out at the end of this turn is gonna remove them immediately. Tenor told me during the tournament, during group stage, no, at the end of group stage, they thought of Toxic Spikes in the way they built their team. Levitating the 3rd Pokemon to miss ground types, the fact that it's on a Ghost makes it not get hit by normal and fighting as well, which is really useful. But it makes it not get hit by Toxic Spikes either. It's not effective because of Levitate. And then, as in their 4th slot, when Toxic Spikes is a pretty good chance of being up, a Poison type to remove the Toxic Spikes immediately.
Well, both corners still have a chance to win this. Who's going to take the glory?
Hydro Pump from Nidoking! That's a dead Hippopotas.
It's down.
I'm thinking of something. For the tournament highlights, do we just take whichever highlights people want and then not necessarily have it from the same, like the one something from, have something from every match? Or do I take like the biggest move or biggest turn from every match? Or maybe biggest turn or turn, because some games have multiple turns that are huge, like me versus Gaming in round 1 of the group stage. The Toxic Spikes turn is one of the most important ones for the for that match, but the biggest turn I would say is the Healing Wish into Toxic turn. I need to not collect things too quickly. Here comes Kyogre. Rain comes out, no more hail damage, but Pokemon remaining advantage Tenor, with the Pokemon on Sander's side still poisoned. Drench on the Sleeping Nidoking. Is Kick W gonna survive quite long again, like it did in their semi-final match? It was Duskull and Tyranitar at the end, wasn't it? Huh. Gaming in the chat saying, take whatever you see as highlight material and make a highlight montage out of it. Yeah, that's probably best. Because without context of the full match, some of the biggest turns might not matter at all. Like, just seeing Toxic Spikes can be huge in a fight, but then like, if they have a Levitator, a bunch of Levitators, or a Poison type on the team, it doesn't do anything. I'll need people that have watched all the videos to help me gather highlights, though. I might upload a video after group stage at some point to say, hey, people help me gather, help me write down highlights, and then at the end of the tournament, once the finals are over, I ask for the same thing again. I gather them up and then I edit something. Although by that point, I'll be back from my vacation. It'll be like end of January or something. I haven't calculated exactly when the tournament will end in terms of the YouTube videos. Duskull just goes straight through with that spike. Yeah, Nightmare on a sleeping Pokemon. That almost never works. Same for something like Dream Eater. Similar to stuff like Swallow or Spit Up. It requires Stockpile. Dream Eater, Nightmare. You need to sleep. Works this time. Kyogre goes first with Metal Burst. That doesn't help. Nidoking wakes up, so Nightmare's gone too. Kane survives. Looking good for Tenor, and they use Roar. Gets rid of Kyogre, interestingly. Alright, sends out Groudon, so Kyogre will come back later. Sets Groudon on a timer, which it would have done anyway. But even if they use stuff like Rapid Spin, at least everything is already poisoned. Yeah, Sleep Talk also needs sleep, you're right. There's Power Swap, Guard Swap, and just straight up Heart Swap, which is both combined. Full Flail on the big boy Groudon. Doesn't do much damage. I really like how Groudon looks in terms of its pose. I think it has a really cool design. I don't think Groudon was in my top 10 Gen 3 Pokemon. It might go a bit higher now. But I wanted to re-look at that list that I made. I don't think Groudon made top 10. There's a lot of starters or starter evolutions when I made that. I never made the video. I never felt like editing it. But I didn't make the top 10 list. I don't think Groudon was in it. I remember just not liking it because of the amount of starters and starter evolutions on it. There it goes. Snover down. We're down to 2 Pokemon for Sander.
It's down and out. The move failed.
Kyogre back out. We're gonna end under rain, most likely.
It seems that its physical condition is not so good. The red corner.
Unless both Kane and Kick W go down, in which case we'll end under Sandstorm. Because just like me, and especially just like Damien, Tenor ends in Garchomp Tyranitar. That would have been such a cool matchup. Outside of me versus Tenor because we're partners, in terms of the teams, Tenor v Damien both end on the Garchomp Tyranitar duo. Like, I have Garchomp and Tyranitar, but my Garchomp is my 3rd Pokemon, not my 5th. Because I have 2 more Sandstorm Summoners. Ooh, we get the present healing. I mentioned that sometimes that it can't happen. Here it is. Kane, Squatchy, Squatch!
Nidoking is slowly losing its health. Well, both corners still have a chance to win this. Who's going to take the glory? The move fails. Nicely done. Duskull faces a great deal of pressure. Groudon suffers from poison. It's raining in the Colosseum again.
It could end this turn if there's some decent hits on Kyogre and Groudon, but it could also go down to a 2v2 scenario. It's already raining, Groudon.
Still can't pull off a move.
Maybe try using Rain Dance once Sandstorm comes out with Tyranitar.
Ripped by Dragon Claw. It went down. It's a heart swap, and the stat changes are about to be swapped.
Very little time left for Kyogre and Groudon.
It's down.
Tenor's not going to win 4-0, but how much you win by doesn't matter. Even if you win 6-0, if you lose the next two 1-0, you still lose the total thing. Garchomp, Tyranitar out. Sandstorm active.
Tyranitar is sent out.
It's a bit extra damage on Kyogre. Sandville active on Garchomp.
Raging in the Colosseum again.
Kyogre and Groudon are still higher base stat total than Tyranitar and Garchomp are. 1-2 big moves, and it could still change. And yes, we will go to Sunset Coliseum next gaming, because it hasn't been randomized whatsoever, and because the potential is that the next match between Center and Tenor will be their last one, and because of Stargazer Coliseum being used the entire time in the finals, in all of the best 2 out of 3, I will force Sunset Coliseum for this second match. Hammer Arm, that's the big move in Tyranitar that I was talking about.
A fierce blow.
Survives it though.
Barely holds on.
Chomp gonna bounce back from it. Iron Defense. It's a little late. You've already been hit by the big physical move, but it might still help it survive.
Kyogre is slowly
I think Kyogre will still survive the poison. Final turn for Kyogre and Groudon. It is not over yet.
the end of the battle.
Kyogre's probably the slowest on the field, though. I think it's gonna be Garchomp, Groudon, Tyranitar, Kyogre, that order. Watch Explosion happen now and Tenor still lose. Low kick, it's Groudon. Groudon's heavy. Groudon's done for. Kyogre will have to use Blizzard or something to finish it off in one turn. If Tyranitar doesn't take it out now. Gust. Small gust of wind. The first match for the bronze match goes to Tenor 2-0.
The game is now over.
But we are not done yet. Tenor doesn't have that third place medal yet. They have one win. They need to beat Sander one more time to take that bronze medal. Sander needs to beat Tenor now twice in a row to get it for themselves. Tenor leads 1-0. We're not done yet. Because we haven't randomized into Sunset Coliseum at all during the entire tournament, and this may be our last chance if Tenor would win this. I'm forcing a battle on Sunset Coliseum right now. They swapped sides, but that's all. There's no competitive advantage to whichever side you run. We go to Sunset Coliseum. If Sander wins this, we go to a third decider. If Tenor wins this, they take the bronze medal, and Sander is unfortunately left without a prize.
The sight of Pokemon battling against a beautiful sunset, it's truly moving. The stage is set and the curtain is up. The red corner makes the first attack.
Good boy move to start.
Already. Solid hit, but this is not a favorable matchup. Its attack missed. It hits. A heated battle is unfolding in the Colosseum. The move can't hit the opponent.
It's not toxic spikes, but it's spikes. It's not that continuous damage, but there's a lot of big moves early on. Wow. First KO is Gibble. Now, spikes doesn't poison them, so it's not that overtime, long run, big damage. But that does mean that because every one of the Sander's remaining Pokemon is grounded, all of these Pokemon are actually. It is going to be 1/8 of their max health dealt once, and it is upon their sending. And that is still good. A 1/8 damage move basically on everything. Advantage Tenor early. And speaking of big moves, I saw Sky Attack from Igglybuff. Gastro Acid, that stops Sandstorm, but Sandstorm's already active, so that doesn't matter. Flame Body active. Halved physical attack for that Hippopotas. We didn't get to see Flame Body a second time. But Slugma definitely left a parting gift. With some burn on that Hippopotas, so it doesn't take the poison damage, but it still takes the burn damage, which in this generation is still 1/8 of the max health. I think it was Gen 6 or 7. Or it was changed to 1/16. I felt the burn was a bit too good. Especially, probably considering it also weakened the physical attack stat of the Pokemon.
Duskull is sent out.
Sorry if I just heard a different game sound. My mistake.
The move failed.
Clicked on the button wrong. Aura Sphere of the normal type. Duskull taking out Igglybuff with a fighting type move again. Back to a lead for Tenor, 5-4 now. And Mareep's a lot more healthy than last time at this point. I think in terms of looks, Sunset Coliseum might be my favorite. I've made a top 10 and actually recorded a top 10 of PBR Coliseums, which I haven't actually finished editing it. But I've made the video and I think I even did the voiceover for it. I just haven't edited it yet, which isn't a big edit. So that's something I'll probably set up for sometime soon. This just remind me of doing that edit. So by the time this hits YouTube as a standard video, I assume that the top 10 PBR video, well, PBR Coliseums video will be up. But that's mostly based on challenge, a bit on looks, the gimmick of the Coliseum. It all adds something to it. In terms of looks, Sunset might be my favorite, I think.
But this is not a favorable matchup.
Mareep just standing there in the air. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Hippopotas suffers from its burn.
What did I do? Yeah.
The move fails. Hit. Mareep fell asleep. Its defense rose.
It's nicely sleeping after it had a dream that it could fly.
It's not gonna be able to withstand much more. Well, both corners still have a chance to win this. What kind of developments can we expect to see next? Snowbird still can't pull off a move. Thunder detonates with a boom. But this is not a favorable matchup. Taken out by the avalanche of falling hail. Kyogre is sent out.
Reaper survived long enough to see Kyogre. Let's see what it can do against it. And gaming, yes, you are right. Stargazer Coliseum was the beginning of your journey, because that's where your first match of the tournament was against me. And it will also be the final resting point, whether you win against Damien or not. Alright, Marie saw Kyogre, sort of. It was in the presence of Kyogre. It was asleep, I don't think it ever saw it.
A fierce blow. Snowbird barely holds on. corner still have a chance to win
Pokemon
this.
remaining
What kind of
and an
development
HP advantage
can we expect to see
for
next?
Tenor. Spikes will still be active for when Groudon comes out. It would be interesting to use Whirlwind on Snover, or Snover uses U-turn. Just so that Snover goes down to Spikes right at the end. That's not what I said.
Taken down by Lunar Dance.
Well, this is one of the few times Lunar Dance actually comes into play. It has a positive effect. It had a positive effect in my match against Gaming, but then by removing the toxic spikes that activated, but then that was removed anyway. But here, the spike should activate, and then immediately it gets healed again. So I guess Groudon comes in with full health.
Its special attack rose.
Nidoking became smaller, Groudon became bigger.
A fierce blow. Such amazing power.
Who's going to deal the final bit of damage in this fight for bronze? Nidoking? Duskull? Will it be a Pokemon in the back, or will it be the Sandstorm damage from Tyranitar later on? Or will we not know yet, because Groudon on Kyogre might just completely change the play of the game. Will change the way the game goes.
A chilling breeze can be felt in the Colosseum.
4-2 lead for Tenor. We haven't seen a 4-0 win yet. It's looking unlikely because there's no poison this time. Will we ever see a 4-0 in the Storm? They are unlikely due to the way the teams are balanced with base stat totals and the bigger Pokemon are always in the back. Defog, does that remove the spikes in this gen?
It's invasive.
Nope, I don't think so. Actually, we don't know yet. Nope, it doesn't. That's later games. I think in Gen 4 it's only removing the ones on the opponent's side. It only removes your own early on.
Duskull.
No, later in later gens, like Gen 6 onwards or something.
Bouncing around. The attack
So that there were more ways to get rid of them instead of just rapid spin. I think that's why that was changed.
What kind of developments can we expect to see next?
Bouncy, bouncy, bounce!
Hit.
Poison point on Kyogre. If Tenor didn't have enough of an advantage, they might do now. Conversion 2.
The move
Nope.
fails.
Nidoking goes for Groudon with Crunch. Nom 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 nom.
Kyogre suffers from poison.
Kyogre was a very high health, so that poison is really nice.
To be in pain. This could get dangerous if it lasts too long.
Kane's unfortunately paralyzed. Duskull's at low health, but still an advantage Tenor. For the poison especially. Ooh, Omni Boost? I don't think... Have we seen an Omni Boost at all this tournament? There's not many moves that can give it. Is it Silver Wind, Ominous Wind, Ancient Power? There's certain moves I feel like we've seen so much more. It would be interesting. Is someone willing? Because I'm really interested in it. Very little bit I would want to do it, but it would force me to watch the entire tournament again. And I've already edited most. A lot of matches already. Who wants to go through the entire tournament, note down every move used, and make a tally?
It keeps dealing damage.
every move. How many? Which moves were never used because of Metronome? Obviously, Metronome themselves doesn't count. Out of all the moves that can be called by Metronome, which is basically everything, I think Chatter, maybe not. That's all. Maybe Sketch. That is this it. Explosion.
Annihilated by explosion.
The semi-finals were ended by a self-destructing Groudon. The fight for bronze was ended by an exploding Kyogre. Garchomp and Tyranitar were never needed. Tyranitar was Tyranitar sent out last time? No, I think it was. Duskull is the one that leaves, that stays on the field. 3-0 win after a 2-0 win. Bronze medal in the second Metronome tournament. Congratulations to Tenor.